Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Emmett and today I'm going to show you some fall photo editing tips. Perhaps you've experienced something similar to what I have, which is that I go on Instagram and I see beautiful fall photos that look like this. There's nice oranges and golden colors throughout the photo. And then when I go out and take some fall photos myself, they tend to look more like this. There's a lot of green and pale yellow, and it just really doesn't have the beautiful fall colors that we're used to seeing from other people's photos. And so as I took some fall photos recently, I've been looking around trying to learn how to really get those nice fall colors. And what I've really realized is that perhaps I'm the only photographer that didn't know this, but a lot of those colors that you're seeing on Instagram probably are not the natural colors that were in that scene. They've probably really been enhanced a lot to make the scene look more fall-like, just because it's very, very hard to get those perfect looking fall leaves in real life. It just doesn't happen that way. But there's actually a very simple adjustment that you can use that I will show you today that will really bring out those fall colors in your photos and make them look the way that you want. So I'm going to swing around behind me to the computer right now, pull up the photo, and show you guys how that's done. Alright, so here is a photo that I took on my last photo shoot, and as you can see, the leaves were really pretty green there still. There were some yellows in the photo right in here. This is kind of yellow over here. These trees were kind of yellow, but the resulting photograph is still really green looking. Those yellows didn't really come through in the camera. I did actually have it white balanced to preserve yellows, but it still just didn't really quite catch them. And then we've got some trees in the back here that I think are sort of like a pine tree or something. So those are not really gonna be fall colored. But all these deciduous trees up in the front here, we do want to have some fall colors to them. Now the first thing that you're going to do when you are editing these types of fall photographs is kind of perform your normal photo editing. So you're going to want to adjust your contrast, your exposure, things like that, do the sharpening, that kind of thing. And I've already done that on this photo because that's not really super relevant to what we're talking about today. You can watch some of my older photo editing videos, and I do some of that type of editing if you need any tips there. But today, what we are going to look at specifically is these fall colors. And I am here in Affinity Photo. This is what I usually use for my photo editing, but you'll find these tools in other photo editors. It's just a matter of preference which one you like to use. And I am going to pull up this HSL Adjustment, which is hue, saturation, and luminosity. And what I'm going to do is and I've already played with this photo. You'll have to play around with the sliders on your photos to find the color that you're looking for. But you can see on this one, this yellow right here is really that color that we want to enhance and make a bit more fall-like. So what we'll start off with is just saturate that yellow color a bunch more. But then it's still pretty green looking. So what we can do is we can take this hue shift slider and move that around. Now obviously we can make it all kinds of crazy colors, that's not our goal, but we can pull it over just toward a bit more of this nice orange color. And then we can just adjust the saturation however we want. Now, how much of an adjustment toward orange or how much of the saturation or things like that, it's just going to be a matter of your personal preference and style. So if you think that I'm going too far on this, you can do less, or if you think that I should go further, you can do that, whatever. And I'm not going to be too scientific about this today because I just want to show you the overall method and not waste your time on really minute adjustments. So we're just going to go something like that though. You can see already here we've just really enhanced those fall colors quite a lot. So if I were to turn that layer off, again, this is what it looked like, and here's what we have now. It's just looking really nice and orange. Alright, now there's a couple other adjustments that we could make to this. One thing would be we could change the white balance of the photo to make it a little bit yellower overall if you want kind of a golder look. So we could go just a little bit. We don't want to get too lost in this because we'll start to mess up the sky, although we could mask off the sky. Another thing that you can do is Affinity Photo has this color balance adjustment that has the balance of cyan red, magenta green, and yellow blue. So you could make some adjustments in that as well, and that lets you do it in different tonal ranges. So I could take just the midtones, for example, and make a bit yellower, just like that, to give kind of a yellower tone to the fall portion of the photo without getting too much into the sky up here at the top, because we don't want the sky to look yellow. And then actually I could try taking the highlights where the sky is and just toning that a little bit bluer to maintain that blueness in the sky, as well as in the waterfall a little bit. Now that I have made these adjustments, the photo I think is looking a bit darker than it was. So I might just add an exposure layer and just brighten it up some, and that really kind of brings those colors out a little bit as well, really makes them pop a little more just by brightening up the photograph, just like that. Another fun thing that you can do with fall photos sometimes, and I'm not sure it'll work super well on this particular one, but it's some split toning. Sometimes it's fun to add like some blue into the shadows of the photo. Gives it a little bit different of a look, just like that. So I'm not sure that I actually like that in this particular case, but I've used it on some of my other fall photos recently, as well as adding some oranges into the highlights. Sometimes that can be kind of fun. So you can just play around with lots of different adjustments once you've got that. But the main thing that you're going to want to do is this HSL adjustment, and you can select different colors in here to apply the adjustment to in the photograph, and then adjust their hue and saturation. So if I wanted, I could even take the greens that are in this and I could hue the greens differently toward more of a red. Now in this photo we don't want to do that, but there might be times when you would. Just undo that. So that's essentially the entirety of this photo editing for fall photos. It works better and worse on different photos depending on how many hues you've got going on in the photo. And sometimes you may need to mask things off. So if you've got a person in your photo, for example, you don't want to change their tones. And so what you can do is just mask it off. And in Affinity Photo, the live adjustment is a mask already. So you would just take a large black brush and you could just mask off an area. There's one as an example. Obviously that doesn't make sense here, but say if we wanted this little plant down here to still be green or something, we could mask it off like that. So if you had a person in the photograph, you could mask them off to keep their colors looking normal. Now, one other thing that you might be thinking at this point is, wait a second, Emmett, could this be used on a summer photo to make it look like it is fall? And yeah, it could. So use this power wisely. So that HSL adjustment, along with some white balance and different things like that, is a really powerful tool that you can use in your fall photos to really achieve more of a fall mood throughout the photograph. There tends to be a lot of greens still in the fall that don't really line up with our artistic visions of what fall should look like sometimes, and the camera tends to oftentimes capture those greens or sometimes those yellow tones, and doesn't get quite the orange feel that you might be going for. So you can use the HSL adjustment to just really enhance that fall mood throughout your photos. Alright guys, so that is all for today's video. Hopefully that was helpful for you to see that little bit of a trick to edit your fall photos. I hope that you guys had the opportunity to enjoy some of this wonderful fall weather lately, at least if you're in the northern hemisphere as I am, and get out and take some fall photos. If you're in the southern hemisphere, maybe you can pull out some from the last time it was fall for you and use this editing tip. And so if this did help you, don't forget to hit that like button on the way out, as well as to subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. And I do want to say thank you to all of my subscribers. We have reached 100 subscribers now, which is very exciting. So thanks so much to all you guys who have subscribed. If you haven't, don't forget to do that so you don't miss more videos of photo editing, some camera tips, tricks, reviews, that sort of thing, and landscape photography out actually in the field taking some photographs. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.